Good afternoon, everyone. So this is the topic of today's panel discussion is the role of emotional intelligence in bridging skills and competencies. Today, from the morning, we have been listening to a lot of discussions. And in that discussions, I think this discussion has come up a lot, that skill development. So we are talking about skills. And when we had some of our guests talking about the new things, new age, education 4.0, what they are talking about competencies. We have talked about life skills from the morning today. So emotional intelligence is what? Is today everyone is talking about, and it is I think a crucial role which is taking shape in the school, because emotional intelligence has to be a bridging stone between skill and competency. What is skill? Skill is what is taught in the classroom. Skill is the maths, the addition, the subtraction, the skill subject that we are teaching. But what is competency? Competency is the behavior attitude that we are talking about. It is empathy, not sympathy. It is conflict management. It is teamwork. It is collaboration. Now, why are we talking about it today? So when we talk about skills and we are talking about marks, we are all talking about class 10th result, we are talking about class 12th result. Children today and parents are also talking about IIT, quota and all that. But what they learn in school, are they actually using that in their jobs, using that in their employment, using that in life? So what is education? There is one quote of Swami Vivekananda, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varanya Bodhata. Arise, awake and stop not till your goal is reached. So what is the goal of education? The goal of education is education for life. So is education for marks? I don't think. But slowly, education has become for marks. And we have forgotten that education is for life, what is being taught. There was a question also in the group that was happening, that are we the custodian of teaching life skill in the school? But can we separate skills and competencies? Are we not the custodian of the child when the child leaves the school in class 12 and goes and faces the world or faces the challenges of life? So this panel discussion today will talk about that, why is emotional intelligence important and what are the areas in which emotional intelligence actually helps the child. So let me start with Dr. Nisha, Principal GBN School, Faridabad. In what way, ma'am, can emotional intelligence enhance the effectiveness of technical or hard skill that we are talking about in professional setting? And can you share some example where you feel when you have the skills and when you have emotional intelligence, how it can be connected together?
Thank you so much, Dr. Debabrati. A very good afternoon, everyone. It's a wonderful topic that we are talking about, and rightly said by Dr. Debabrati that we have forgotten somewhere. We're just talking about the result. What is a 10th standard result? What is a 12th standard result? Somewhere we have lost the very crux of education. So first of all, let's start from the beginning, how it all began. Everybody has, everybody knows about the story of a thirsty crow. So I always pose a question to my students, what was the first life skill that the crow used? Believe me, Dr. Debabrati and my August panelists, that nobody except one student could answer the same. So they would say, crow thought of picking stones and everything else. So if may I ask the gathering here, so anybody can answer me that what was the first skill that the crow used when we talk about thirsty crow? So you're free, it's just a discussion. So my co-panelists,
someone from the audience?
Yeah, let's keep it very interactive, because all of you
has started thinking.
Yes, that is there, ma'am. Before that also, there comes, yes, ma'am, please. Rita ma'am is there to answer.
The crow was self-aware.
Very nice. A big hand for ma'am.
He is or she is or it is thirsty.
Yes,
A
yes.
big round of applause.
So first thing is that we need to know what do we want. So that is what, it's a triangle that we were talking about, that parents, students and teachers. I mean, there are three, we are at a pyramid, the pyramid on the top is a student and the base is made by the parents on one side and school one side. So all of us have to be aware and we have to tell the stories in that way so that children become very conscious, very self-aware. So they should be self-aware. So today we are talking about here, so at least we are aware now that it's very important to have emotional intelligence. We are talking about, it's not about your EQ, IQ only, it's about EI. As your question was, ma'am, I'll come to that, that we have the skills. We have some hard skills. Maybe I am an engineer. So if I'm leading a team, I'm a project manager, I'm leading a team. So I have all sorts of people in my team. If I need to teach them coding, so I need to know the competency of each member, and accordingly,
Absolutely.
right, ma'am, I have to
Absolutely.
mingle with them, come down to their level, and with that empathy in mind. So you have to collaborate very effectively. If you collaborate effectively, you will communicate very effectively, and you will know what is your goal. And together, where all energies are in sync, who can stop you from being successful? So that is the reason that we need to have EI very importantly, and it has to be now cultivated because we have forgotten that Gurukul system which we used to follow, where all children coming from whichever family, whether the son of or daughter of a king or a pauper, so they were in the same circumstances. They were not in air-conditioned schools, they were helping the Guru and they were learning the life skills as well. So they were full of EI, and that was the reason that they were nobody had ever heard of the word depression. So once we have that high EI, we will be very competent and we will have belief in ourselves and we will believe in our team. For sure, you will take your team to greater heights. This I have seen myself. When a teacher is having higher EI, you would see the result of the class is amazing, not only in terms of academics only, but overall persona. Holistic development is reflecting in the class itself because teacher has gone down to the level of that student and spoken. So that is how, even if I'm an English teacher, I'm teaching adjectives, I know that this boy or a girl is a fan of Virat Kohli. So I will give one kind of a sentence when the child is using his or her own interest. So that is what EI comes into. So this is what I believe in now.
Ma'am, I absolutely agree with what you said, and it is something that I think you hits the bullseye. When a teacher is teaching, the teacher has to know what the child's interest is. Emotional intelligence of the teacher starts there.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
only will you be able to actually capture the attention of the children. So before teaching EI to children, I think we teachers have to be taught EI, or
correct.
they have to be so evolved, because in a class, I think all of you know there has to be differential teaching. So if you know, and then you can connect. So then that is a part of EI of a teacher.
Correct,
When the
ma'am.
teacher knows. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I tell my teachers to have KYC, know your children. So it's very important. It works very well.
yes, and know your children is a part of EI, right? Okay. Thank you so much. So the next question is to you, ma'am. Dr. Srijita, ma'am, question for you. What are the key EI competencies the school should focus on in developing in the school, be it teacher or be it student, with the evolving needs of today's industry? What are the key needs or the key competencies that you think a teacher should have, or what is the key competencies you think we should develop among children?
True. What we are discussing from the morning, that not only the marks, not only the academics. Everybody we know that to get the marks, or with the marks and report card, we need a job. We get a job. But to keep the job, we need the soft skills. We need the EI. Self-awareness. is one of the most important component. Nowadays, it is so much, any organization, any institution is dynamic, moving in a fast. So with that, if I don't know where is my strength, where are my limitations, then how I will take the decision. That is a very important part for a leader also, and for the workers also, and for the students, because students have to choose the stream. They should know their limitations. Many of us we face, they take standard maths without knowing that they have got a limitation on maths. That is academic part, but they should be self-aware as the crow. They should be self-aware. We should be self-regulation. As a leader, we saw, just tell a student, stop talking, immediately burst into tears. What is there? We never burst into tears when we are a student. We never burst into tears when a teacher said stop talking. But now, that what ma'am said, Nisha ma'am, very correctly, in our time we have got only two words: sad, angry, happy. Now depression. Guardians are mostly helicopter guardians. So helicopter parents, they are telling, why you put, my son said this, he became depressed. So this word came, and the new job what is emerging is psychology, not the IT skill. Then what we need is adaptability, continuous changing. If I am not an AI competent person, sometimes I also think that maybe I'm not going to lose my job, because that is called adaptability. We have to be very much adaptable, and that is our EI, a quality of our EI, and we have to keep it with it. Then social skill, which is actually not there. After COVID, the children are so much with the mobile. Social skills are not there. Before, and whenever we used to, I can feel that difference. Whenever we see any teacher, we used to say good morning ma'am, good afternoon ma'am, anywhere. Now that skill is going. But we know, while working in an institution or anywhere, social skill is very much necessary. So I think that these are the skills, ma'am, which
Thank you,
one our
ma'am. I
institute
think you
should
have
grow.
pointed out the three most important skills. Adaptability. I think today, like we do not have 4 children in the house, we are only there, they're all single unit families. So adaptability to another peer and adaptability to another sister, brother is moving up. So that is where the adaptability can be taught, and because it doesn't happen inside the family, we as custodians of the children, we have to take. Plus, like you said very well, that if the child is an engineer and has to lead a team of 20 people, then I think adaptability is the most important competency. And above that, the first point that you said, I think I also resonate, that is self-awareness.
Yes.
Once you understand, you may get angry, right? But after some time, we need to be also understand, or we need to retrospect that yes, I got angry and I shouldn't have. So if that self-awareness is there,
Right.
I think the work becomes much better, and these are the competencies which will help the child, I think, better in their job profile.
Yes.
And like in the morning someone
Right.
said, which I also absolutely agree,
I
is that
agree
the
with that.
marks gives you the first job. Marks gives you the entry into the
But to keep up
best
with.
best college. But to be the president of a company or to be a leader of a country, it is EI and
Which
the
helps.
life skill and the value education that you have got. So today, these two have to be integrated. And I think the custodians are the leaders who are there today. That is the reason the topic has come, and the principals who are actually leading the children. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, for you, Dr. Mrinalini, ma'am, your question is, what role does emotional intelligence play in managing conflict or stress, particularly when it comes to applying competencies in high pressure situations. Now exams are coming up, high pressure situations. In our time, I don't think we had so much of pressure, but today our children are going through. So what do you think? What role does EI play in managing that?
Thank you so much, ma'am. EI, when we talk about, it is very important to manage the conflict and the stress because it helps people understand what emotions the other person is having. So if a parent is having EI, he can understand that the child is undergoing stress of board exams already. So kind of environment that should be around the child should be very positive. So when we talk about self-awareness is something where person can identify his or her own emotions and then relate to the reactions other person is going to give it. In case if I am very angry and I am stressing out that anger on the other person, definitely the other person also will become angry. So if you are self-aware, you know that your emotions, what are your emotions and how it is going to bring about the reaction in the other person. So accordingly, you will modify your emotions. Then only you will be able to modify the environment of the children, teacher or people around you. Now, if you have EI as a principal or as a teacher or as a person, it also helps in self-regulation. So you will be able to manage your emotions in a very constructive way. And then you will be socially aware what other people around you are doing and how you have to take care of them so that they come out of their stress successfully. Now, EI actually helps to collaborate with the team and also it helps us to handle the conflict with lot of grace. There are many people, many children, many teachers who come to the principal or who are going to their head of the departments. So if there is conflict between two people, the person who is a leader and he has high EI definitely is going to handle the conflict gracefully and no one loses. It's a win-win solution for both of them. So it also helps in building a strong relationship because you are understanding the other person. So the other person is going to have lot of faith on you. Why? When you go to any counselor or when you go to any psychiatrist, you are able to open up because a kind of relationship is built between the both where fear is not there, stress is not there. So a leader, parent or any person who has good EI, his team members, children and parents are going to open up and speak about all their problems without thinking that the other leader is going to judge me. Then it also reduces the misunderstandings. Say for example, I give a very simple example. A child in 12th standard has an exam, pre-board exam. Child did not go for exam and mother started shouting on child without even understanding why child did not go. Another scenario, mother came and asked what happened. She spoke to the child and child said that although I have prepared everything and I'm a topper of a class, but still I'm scared of getting less marks. That is why I did not go. So it's not that the child is not prepared. The child is scared to face the exam. So in that scenario, if a person is having high EI, definitely is going to handle that situation better than a person who's more dominating. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And what you said, taking from there, when there is two leaderships, you have a principal and a parent and a teacher, then conflict management is something the most important EI that the leader is supposed to have, because it is the conflict management which is going to reduce the stress. And I think another most important thing that you said is communication. Communication, if it is open, then you can talk to your child also, you can talk to a teacher also. and the teacher will feel safe to talk to you also, and the child will feel safe to talk to the teacher. That is why we are talking today that EI is not only for children. EI is also starting from the leadership to the parent, to the teacher, and to the child. All four. Then lot of stress that is happening today is going to be solved if I feel the leadership team in our schools, the teachers are first taught how to manage, and then maybe in their lesson plans and activities, these EI, conflict management, stress, how to manage stress, anger management issues without taking any side can be taken into account. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now, Rita ma'am, for you, the question is, do you think emotional intelligence is something that can be developed over time? Or is it an inherent trait? What strategies can we employ to cultivate EI in our employees? I think that is the most important thing. IQ cannot be cultivated. IQ is God's gift, which I think everyone has said. But can we cultivate EI? Can we cultivate emotional intelligence?
All right, first let's understand what is EQ, emotional quotient, or EI, emotional intelligence. Before I venture into it, I would just like to bring two incidents in front of you. Both are live incidents. One in my school and one in the Indian Parliament. Few days back, you must have noticed that one of the parliamentarians fell down for whatsoever reason. And yeah, for whatsoever reason. The so-called accused comes up and he says, well, I'm not to blame, I did not push him, and moves away. The second incident took place right in my school this morning. We were here, I get a phone call कि ma'am, one LKG का बच्चा है, the child is having fever, but the parent is insisting that there is some activity-based assessment in the school, and the parent, the mother, is insistent that the child should give that activity-based assessment, which will be reflected in the child's assessment card, holistic development card. So the school is ready to give the child a second chance as per the child's convenience, because I am one principal who always says, ma'am, health matters. बच्चे को खुश रहने दीजिए. School, yes, that's important. But आप जब उस बच्चे को ज़बरदस्ती स्कूल भेज रहे हैं to take that assessment, so somewhere or the other a fear factor is there. In both the instances, what was missing? Emotional quotient was missing. In both the instances, the emotional quotient was missing. And it is very surprising that our education has always been value-based. Terms may be different, but the education system has not taken too big a deviation. The core is still the same. Yes, the subjects and the weightage or impetus has slightly deviated, or variations have taken place because of the changing or because of the evolution or revolution in the education sector or in life. But emotional quotient was always there. So here, why we see such a big change? Because somewhere the value system is vanishing in the right spirit. When do you think man must have been called civilized? When do you think? अब लगा होगा कि नहीं, अब actually human beings are civilized. If I'm not mistaken, it was not the discovery of it was not the discovery of fire, neither was it the invention of wheel. It was, according to me, there's a story that group of human beings where, because they were all nomads, they were wandering, okay? So it so happened that one of the mates developed an injury, the limbs were broken, and that member could not proceed, what happened? The other members assisted that member and they pulled in their efforts and took the person to the destination. That was the portrayal of emotional quotient and the beginning of civilization. Now, what is emotional quotient? Definitely it falls in the affective domain. And if it falls in the affective domain, that means it is a skill. And if it is a skill, definitely it is not innate, it is not genetic, it can be cultivated, it can be acquired. That answers the first part of your question, ma'am. And the second part is how in school we can
cultivate those.
Yes, how in school we can cultivate. See, you need not have a separate time zone for it. It is all integrated. It is integrated learning. When you're giving value-based education, like in the morning session, I heard one of them saying, how can we put focus on value-based education? How do we complete the syllabus? Again, these are not watertight compartments. Value-based education is integrated. Like when you're teaching germination of seed, the value itself is there. The nurturing of the seed, the timely giving water to the seed, handling with care, coming and looking after, observing its growth, feeling the happiness as their plant is growing. So these are integrated. Next.
That's where I think we all have a question, is that if there is no curriculum to teach EI, right? There is no curriculum to teach EI to teachers, there is no curriculum to teach EI to children. How do you expect? We are all talking big things, we are talking about emotional intelligence, IQ, but how do we expect, and we are also expecting our teachers to put it inside the lesson plan and activities, but we have not taught them. So the debate here is also a question which keeps arising. How do we expect our teachers?
Answering your question,
How
ma'am.
do we expect them to put it inside their lesson plan? And rightly said, in 40-minute class, they have to finish their lesson also, right? So it's a tall order. So as leaders, we can start discussing that how do we integrate it into our activities, but how do we say that to a teacher? How do we train the teacher? Do we have a training module for that? We don't. So that is a challenge that we are actually facing in schools. We know it is important, right? That is one question, maybe you can answer.
Do you really think we need a training for developing emotional quotient?
No,
Haven't we come
actually
out
no.
of schools?
No.
Haven't we come out of schools? Did we have any particular period to train our emotional quotient? And we are two generations. I'm 58, and I think I make a very good teacher.
So, ma'am, it
Because
has
I
to be-
understand people.
It has
See,
to be in
this
every
comes with
subject.
behavior, this from family, from surrounding, and EI is something very pertaining to the environment. How you talk, it's way of life. How you address people, what tone you use.
Yes, say that role model.
Yes.
Teacher is the
You
role
have to
model.
lead by example,
Yeah.
ma'am. You have to
Yeah,
lead by example.
Example.
Absolutely.
So-
And then in the school, we must have activities. First of all, the teacher, the only training that the teacher ought to be given is, beta, you have to be soft and be a listener. That is all that we have. And teachers do wonderful jobs. You just, streamline them. Let them be aware of your school culture. Streamline them, and they will come up with amazing ways to make their thought emotionally more sound.
Okay, to be the devil's advocate again,
Yeah,
I am a life skill trainer, so CBSE life skill trainer. I am a master trainer on life skill, and I'm a certified counselor, but I'm playing the devil's advocate here. Now my question to all of you is that in 10th and 12th, like in the morning we were saying, we want those pictures. We want it in our newspaper, no? In the month of July, so many children got 90%, so many children got 80%, and you are giving 8 periods to a teacher, 8 period to a teacher to teach physics, chemistry, biology. And it is those children who are from 9 to 12 whose emotional intelligence has to be developed too much, because they are the ones who are facing the stress. And it is their timetable that has no time. So our question is, so my question, why I really wanted this question, there is no answer to it. There is no right or wrong answer to it. So as leaders, so emotional intelligence can be taught to class 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all right. What about those children from 9 to 12? I am putting pressure on a child because the child I feel can get 100. The subject teacher is putting pressure, you can get 100. The parent is pushing pressure, you get 100, so you will get a scholarship. And then the teacher is the principal is also saying, you have to have EI, you have to have that. So, this is a conflict that I think we leaders are also going through, and it is a question that I'm throwing open to all of you. So let us retrospect and keep on talking about this. We don't talk about it. We are not talking about it. We don't want to discuss about it also. So this was one platform, I think, where they wanted to bring open this Pandora's box, that there is something called emotional intelligence. There is no curriculum for it, but it is very, very necessary. So how do we do it? Thank you so much, all of you. The school leaders who have been a part of it, and we have been able to generate a little bit of curiosity among the people who are sitting there, so that in our next effort we can come up with something where this emotional intelligence can be a part of our curriculum, can be a part of our schooling system, and not kept as something that can be taught by grandparents and the surrounding. I'll give you one example. When Modi ji started talking about Swachh Bharat, Swachh Bharat, Swachh Bharat, it was so nice to hear. I was going in my Scorpio. I stopped somewhere, and there in the winter months, moongfali aate hai na? So I was having that moongfali, eating and throwing it outside the window. Being a principal, imagine, it did not even strike me what I was doing, and I was throwing that on the road, because that car is mine, the road is not mine, right? So that EI, that life skill was not developed so much. My child of 10-year-old was sitting with me, my own son. Mom, what are you doing? Mom, what are you doing? That's when I went back. And said thank you to the teachers of Modern School Barakamba for teaching my children that they have been given that safe space to tell, Mom, you can stop, or if you're seeing something wrong. So maybe this is some culture that we can, which Nisha, you also I think spoke, that we need to start developing a safe culture. We need to start talking about EI. We need to start talking about it in our meetings with the teachers, and how to cultivate EI. There is no right or wrong. There is no yes or no. So let us develop it as leaders of tomorrow. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.